Hello, it's Phillip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm looking at a very special book from the Legal Action Group. It came out a couple of years ago now, but it's still very relevant. It's called simply Identification. This is a copy of the front cover of it. I haven't got the book actually here with me at the moment, but it's subtitled Investigation, Trial and Scientific Evidence by Paul Bogan. And as I say, it's a very interesting book. I've written a number of reviews about the work because ID evidence is a very important area for all of us, as I'm sure everyone is aware. What I've subtitled my review on the internet and in journals is The Eye Sees What It's Meant to See, Live Issues of ID. And I make no mistake for the fact that this is an important area, because so many times the real evidence will turn on ID. And every year the Court of Appeal hears a very large number of cases which rest specifically on this subject. So Bogan on ID is a gem of a book for me as a practitioner, because it brings together all the difficulties associated with adducing identification evidence on both sides. And it's right to say that police practice and the criminal justice process itself are now highly developed areas where disputes over ID are concerned. And it's obviously as I say, the big issue. If you just think of the concept of the hoodie, I'm sure all will be revealed, or not, as the case may be. The book addresses the many scientific advances concerning ID evidence which have been made in the last few years, and it's going to become, I think, an indispensable aid to criminal lawyers in future cases. Certainly this edition is one that will be built upon, I would think. The problem which Paul Bogan tackles in this detailed work continues to generate both controversy and debate. What Bogan achieves here is an analysis of the powers and duties of police officers in the collection of ID evidence. He offers a comprehensive guide to the various sources of ID evidence within the trial process itself, which is of great forensic help. Probably this is the single most important reason for practicing barristers, certainly at the criminal bar, to purchase this book. He also offers a thorough insight into the methodology and admissibility of scientific and other expert means of personal ID, which of course remains one of the biggest areas of controversy. He's well suited to the task as a member of Doughty Street Chambers, and is a specialist in both fraud, drug trafficking and offences of serious violence, so he knows what he's talking about. The book's split into three parts: investigation, trial and scientific evidence, with 17 chapters and a useful introduction. The 7 detailed appendices are of great help in day-to-day practice, and it's always useful, of course, to have the PACE codes, especially D on ID of persons by police officers, and code D is at Appendix A. There are a whole range of other things, history of the various codes and so forth, and also things like pro formas. And as I say, many practitioners, when they look at this book, will probably recall student pupillage days and the problems with ID evidence when you're sort of first confronted with it, and they probably remember some of the PTXs that you had set. I think Bogan's ID book is a must, certainly for those people who are planning to go to the criminal bar, and as trainee barristers in particular need to have a good grasp of what's actually going on. There's an interesting piece in the book about the story of Adolf Beck, which is well worth reading for those who are not familiar with that particular case. It was all about slight resemblance issues. As I've indicated, there are a large number of detailed chapters looking at the various heavyweight aspects of ID evidence, The area I thought was particularly relevant as we move into the next decade of the 21st century is part 3 on scientific evidence. Clearly, DNA profiling, facial mapping, handwriting, voice, and so forth are all incredibly important in this day and age, because all the main senses, if you like, are catered for in this book. So it is a 21st century book looking at the technological advances of recent years which are incorporated. And I think I'll conclude by saying that it's a great book for the idle prisoner if he can't get his hands on Archbold. So beware of that. That's what worries me a bit about it. All the details here, and I doubt whether it'll diminish the number of what I've described frankly as frivolous objections and appeals in the Court of Appeal Criminal Division. It could well be that the book may force a rethink of how we deal with some of these criminal div Court of Appeal hearings, because the system at the moment does not appear to be working in quite the way it should, and ID is often the biggest issue. The difficulty, as we all know, is that someone somewhere's got to decide on a finding of fact who did what and who is who, and that's really the problem. The law's stated as June 2004, so we're a few years down the road, but I think Bogan succeeded in his aspiration that the book will assist all those who seek a better understanding of the law and practice relating to identification evidence. Well done to you, Paul. It's a great book, obviously a lot of hard work. You've achieved your goal, and we should thank the Legal Action Group in particular for this publication. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.